is a update on the 10 Mile Creek. And Tom Teets, Division Director, Everglades Policy and Coordination, will be giving us the report.
Okay, good morning. Just want to provide you a brief update on 10 Mile Creek. As you all know, John did a briefing yesterday on the technical aspects of the project. So what I want to do is just kind of give you a little bit of background on where things stand with the project overall with regards to the deauthorization and everything. So as John mentioned yesterday, this is a 550-acre reservoir and a 123-acre stormwater treatment area. It's a critical project that was authorized by Congress. Current operations that we have in the project are that we only can operate at 1 foot. We got our original approval to operate at 1 foot through this December, and now we've received just last day or two our official go-ahead to just continue to operate at the 1 foot through this calendar year 2016. It's the map of the project that everybody saw yesterday. Basically pulling water off of 10 Mile Creek, moving it on through, and then back into the system. Reduces the flows out of the Gorey Road structure. So project deauthorization. It was deauthorized in the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2016, so it was attached to appropriations bill, which was very creative, and it worked. So got the deauthorization. So the President signed that law into act into law in December 2015. And what that does is it requires a transfer agreement be developed between the district and Corps of Engineers within 180 days. It'll be no longer an authorized project. It'll be a state project. And so all the total ownership and responsibility will be with the Water Management District. The one thing that the legislation does require that the district operate 10 Mile Creek as an environmental restoration project. So next steps, obviously. Next step on the policy side of things is that we have to develop this transfer agreement within the 180 days. Happy to say that we've already had about 3 different conference calls with Assistant Secretary's office. The Assistant Secretary's office, the Army is taking the lead on this and working that agreement. That's really good news. That's going to streamline everything because they end up needing to sign off on it anyway, so we're starting at the top and working very closely with the group there, Assistant Secretary's office, that helped to get that deauthorization through the legislation, is very supportive of that. And as John mentioned, remediation of the facility will be able to make the reservoir to be able to operate at the 4-foot depth. What our goal right now is to complete that design authorization for construction by May of this year, 2016, and construction to be initiated after the wet season operations. And the idea here is allowed to operate at that foot through the wet season, and then be able to move on into the construction efforts and remediation efforts that we need to do during the next dry season to do the construction in the dry, and a duration of about 8 months. And the construction cost estimate for this work is approximately $7 million. That's all I have for you. Any questions?
All right, thanks, Tom. Board questions for Mr. Teets on this one? Mr. Moran?
Thank you, Tom. Was this a project that, if it would have stayed with our federal partners and then eventually been turned over to us and then them not deauthorize it, would the long-term maintenance costs have been shared?
No.
Okay.
This is a critical project that's 100% not federal.
Okay, very well. And the limitations to environmental projects, that precludes us from using it then in the future as a water supply option if we wanted to do that. Is that correct?
I think as long as you're getting an environmental benefit out of it, you still could, provide water as a water supply from that reservoir if it was needed.
Okay, that'll be good. We've touched on this, the fact that the project was involved in litigation and there was a settlement. Have we ever been able to ascertain how much that settlement was?
They've not given us the amount of what that was, but there was a settlement.
Okay. can we expect that we'll ever know that?
I don't know. It may have been closed door.
All right.
If you can find out the answer to that and report back,
Yeah.
that would be helpful.
Thank you, Tom.
Sure.
Any other board comments or questions? Kevin?
Just an observation. We've had some discussion. We had a nice discussion yesterday at Project and Lands, and this is, I'm a firm believer, this is the absolute right, best next step for this. Consistent with this board's commitment to finishing projects, it moves it in from the column of not complete, incomplete, to something that we've put it in position for its future. So I really like the timeline. You know, when you look at this, construction could begin in 2016 and I believe have something operational by the end of 2017. Again, that's real results. Dr. LaPointe talked about one of the problems up there are not just excess inflows, but the nutrients that come in. 10 Mile Creek is right on the top of the North Fork of the St. Lucie River. Brings immediate benefit to that, makes the best of a tough situation. So I'm fully in favor here.
Any other board questions or comments for Tom? Okay, then I would like to invite Don West, who is the Director of Public Works for St. Lucie County, to provide us with a little bit of information on this agenda item on behalf of the County Commission. Mr. West, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I am here today representing the St. Lucie County Commission, and my message today is one of gratitude and celebration. Celebration of our success in working together on this project to reactivate the 10 Mile Creek project. I want to thank the governing board and your staff members for your willingness to take on this project. Realizing, of course, that it was a federal project, but to go in and remediate it and operate the facility is a huge undertaking, and it's much larger than anything we could try to do at the local level. So we're very grateful for the district stepping up to take on this responsibility. We're grateful for your efforts, and in addition, we want to reaffirm our commitment to you, to the governing board, just to support you in our partnership with the district. We've worked together on this a long time. There's a lot of history in this project. Mr. Kevin Powers was personally involved in helping us to achieve this, the federal approvals, for the deauthorization of the project from the Corps of Engineers. And so I do wish to publicly thank you, Mr. Powers, for your personal involvement in this and for your efforts. And this was done with a lot of people involved. Our commissioners worked with our federal delegation in Washington to achieve the congressional approval that was just received last December. There's been a number of the folks on the congressional delegation as well that were involved in this. And most of all, your staff. Your staff's been working really hard on this behind the scenes. I mean, y'all have got some terrific staff working for you. I know you know that. But we're so grateful for what they do because they're always willing to step up and help. They've done a lot of work out there on the equipment, to keep the equipment serviceable, and I know they've got the plan now for the remediation and the operations. So I want to thank the staff, for all their involvement on this. This project has a lot of history behind it. It was one of the critical restoration projects. It was recognized back in 1996, as part of the original SERP. I mean, this was when it was just SERP, and we didn't even have IRL South. It was before we got into the fast track projects, all these other programs. So this was one of the old original ones. It was one of the first ones out of the gate, essentially, for the concept of the regional attenuation facilities. And we recognized this even back in 1995. We worked with Mark Elsner and Dave Unsel on crafting the Upper East Coast Water Supply Plan. And this project was included in that Upper East Coast Plan, recognizing that it had many benefits besides just the idea of cleansing stormwater. And this was when we were actually starting to develop our concept for minimum flows and levels, to reach salinity balance in the estuaries. This was a concept that was new to me at the time. I learned a lot from your district staff on minimum flows and levels and what that's all about. But, we realized that this project is going to have many benefits for our county. For the estuary, and besides the obvious nutrient removal benefits, there's the issue of attenuation, minimum flows and levels. The county has partnered with the district Also on recreational improvements at the Gordy Road facility, which is right next door to the 10 Mile Creek attenuation facility. The Gordy Road rec facility is on property that's owned by the district. It actually was purchased as part of the footprint for the original reservoir. And we worked with your governing board several years ago to get approval to use that land to build that recreational facility. And, you know, that is part of our county vision as well as, I know, part of the district vision to have multi-use out of these facilities. You know, not just the obvious, but get some recreational benefit for the public as well. So, you know, we're real interested in getting this up and running with that in mind. And so we want to continue to work with the district and your staff in partnership. Yesterday in the presentation, there was some discussion about the local 298 district canals around that facility. I've got to tell you that, you know, I would be glad to assist personally in helping with any local issues if the need arises.
Okay, thank you, Don, and we appreciate your comments. Let's not get
Yes.
too far afield off on the other items. We wanted to
Yes.
keep it kind of on this one, but
That's fine. But
we
once again,
appreciate
thank
we
you.
appreciate your support and,
Thank you for
and
your help.
understand that your passion for
Yes.
what we're doing together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, there's no board action needed on that item. It's information.